Hey guys, and welcome to 5 Minutes with ATMA. Just before we get started, I've made some notes on what I want to do with 5 Minutes with ATMA, and there's three things in red. I want to share them. One, make this better. Two, stop doing shit jokes. That's going to be difficult for me. And three, get to the point first. So clearly I've started with something that's not the point, so I'm already failing, but let's get there now. So this week I want to talk about marketing tips for DJs. This question comes from Sophie Foster, who is a pretty awesome DJ and marketer, actually. Maybe she could give me some tips. And it's directed at smaller DJs or people starting out and artists who want to step up and are not exactly sure where to begin with marketing, because marketing tends to be something that a lot of DJs are averse to, being creative type people. And I was naturally very resistant to marketing as well, which you probably wouldn't imagine with all the photos of myself that I post. So firstly, I want to talk about product and character. So your character, you as a person, is the product if you're an artist. It's yes, sure, it's the work that you're creating as well if you're producing, but ultimately as a DJ, it's you and what you're bringing to the table. So a lot of people market things without having an effective product, and that might get you some recognition, it might get you some gigs at first, but if you're not performing well, no amount of awesome marketing is going to save you. So I would always start by looking at what you're delivering. Secondly is your purpose and your goals. So why are you doing this? Why are you alive? It sounds a little bit strange, but that's actually a pretty legitimate question. What is your purpose on the planet? Where does DJing fit into that? A lot of people want to be DJs, but they don't know why. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, then you might float around, you might get some success, but it's never going to be rewarding because there's no context to what you're doing. Once you have an idea of who you are and what you're doing, set some goals. A lot of DJs are kind of like creative nerdy types, and having a path to what success looks like for you is important. Now that doesn't mean big gigs or big money or anything like that. It's just whatever's relevant to you. So I recommend that. 3, experience. Get good at the craft. If you produce, get good at that. Practice. I would say put in your time a little bit before you go out there in the world and start smashing it. Now, I started doing a lot of bar gigs, a lot of really crappy gigs, and it took me quite a few years before I developed the confidence to be able to perform well under the pressure of a larger audience or a different audience, or warming up for an international, or warming up for an artist that's outside of the realm of what I play. Like I just warmed up for Flume in Singapore, and that's outside of my comfort zone. Oh, well, it would be, but I have that experience, so I can handle it with grace. Grace, what a nice word. That doesn't get thrown around the DJ scene too often. So when you have those three things sorted, your product and your character as a person, your purpose and goals, and you have a little bit of experience under your belt, like obviously you get experience playing gigs, then you want to look at how you're marketing yourself and your platforms. And as far as I can tell, and I'm not super up to date because I spend more time refining my product than I do looking at marketing, it seems to be that Instagram is king at the moment, and then there's Facebook and SoundCloud. SoundCloud's a little bit dead as a social media platform, but it's a useful place to host your music, and as a musician, you need a place to do that. If you're producing and releasing tracks, then of course Spotify and Beatport are pretty important. When I look at artists to book for color, the first things we're going to check out are your social media engagement, any releases you have, and we're going to listen to your music. So it's really those three things that we're looking at. And I've fallen into the trap of spending too much time on platforms and trying to perfect my outside brand with very little success, as opposed to building my product. And so now I spend, I do what I consider to be the bare minimum of marketing, and it seems to be getting me results. But something that a lot of people get confused about is that they're looking at their heroes and they want to mimic their style and all this kind of stuff. I would say avoid that completely and just be completely authentic to yourself. And even if you achieve success at a slower rate, it's going to be true to you and who you are, and it's going to be success that you can build on and drive forward over time, because it is a long game. There's no quick wins here. So I hope that was useful for you. Probably not exactly what you'd expect for like marketing tips, but it's the best that I got. So thank you very much and have a great week.